I used to call them small mistakes. That's what made it easy to sleep at night. My husband was confident, disciplined, and quiet in a way that made people listen when he finally spoke. Friends called him Alpha, not because he was loud or aggressive, but because he never chased approval. He built his life methodically, career, routines, reputation. I thought that meant he would never look too closely at me. I was wrong. The first mistake was emotional. Long conversations with a co-worker that lasted too long. Complaints I should have kept private. I told myself it was harmless because nothing physical happened. The second mistake crossed a line. A secret meeting. A lie about where I was. Still, I minimized it. I told myself it was just curiosity, just attention, just a moment. The third mistake was arrogance. I assumed my husband was too busy, too trusting, too stable to notice changes in me. I mistook his silence for ignorance. What I didn't understand was that silence was him observing. He never confronted me. He never checked my phone in front of me. He never accused. He just adjusted, asked different questions, took note of timelines, started coming home earlier than usual, watching without reacting. By the time I realized he knew something, it was already too late. One evening, he suggested dinner with my friend. He said it casually, like it was a normal idea. My stomach dropped, but I forced a smile. I told myself this was my chance to control the story, to act normal. We met at a quiet restaurant. My affair partner looked nervous. My husband looked calm. Too calm. He asked polite questions, listened carefully, even laughed once. Then he placed his phone on the table. I don't like drama, he said evenly, so I planned this efficiently. He tapped the screen. Messages appeared. Screenshots I thought were gone. Dates. Locations. A timeline that lined up perfectly with my lies. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult us. He just laid out the truth like evidence in a file. My affair partner tried to speak. My husband raised one finger. Not yet. He turned to me. You call them mistakes, he said. Mistakes are accidents. These were choices. I felt exposed in a way I'd never felt before. Not angry, not humiliated, just seen. Then came the trap, not a physical one, not violence, not threats. Something worse. Consequences. He revealed that he'd already spoken to a lawyer, that financial accounts had been separated weeks ago, that the lease to the apartment I planned to move into was no longer available, because he owned the building through an investment company I didn't know about. My affair partner shifted in his chair when my husband calmly explained that his workplace had a strict policy about conflicts of interest, a policy my husband didn't create, but had documentation ready for, if needed. I won't destroy you, my husband said quietly. I'll just stop protecting you. That's when I understood what power really looked like. There was no screaming, no public scene. He paid the bill, stood up, and said one last thing that still echoes in my mind. You thought I was unaware. I was patient. He walked out without looking back. In the weeks that followed, everything unraveled. My affair partner distanced himself immediately. Fear replaced affection. My plans collapsed one by one. Friends who once nodded along now avoided my calls. Stories stopped working when facts stood in their place. My husband didn't chase revenge. He didn't smear me online. He didn't argue. He simply exited, prepared, protected, and unmoved. Only then did I understand the trap. He didn't corner us in a room. He cornered us with the truth, timing, and the certainty that he would be just fine without us. And I was left with something I couldn't minimize anymore. Not mistakes, but the cost of underestimating a man who never needed to raise his voice to take control of his life back.